Here's a few ones that men do. This one's really interesting. You've probably all witnessed this one. I know you have. The finger crusher, right here, and the hand crusher. Men who squeeze hands so hard that it hurts. And what's interesting about this, it's also a very dominating, controlling behavior. Watch out for them in business because they're projecting what they want. They want to control everything. And what's interesting is if you call them out on it, they'll say, oh, I don't know my own strength. Well, they're lying to themselves and you because they never do it to a woman. Think about that for a second. Here's a few more that are fun. The handshake that just keeps on going forever. You've all witnessed this one. And what's interesting about this is it comes across from the guy, you're like, God, I really like this guy, but I hate him too. It's really interesting. What's interesting about the lingering handshake, especially when you don't know the person. If you know the person, it's different because it could just be you're comfortable and you're just like, oh my God, I'm so glad to see you, and it's just different, or starstruck. But if it's just in business, we're at a chamber mixer and someone's just shaking your hand and they won't let go, and they maybe even clench on with the other hand, it's not so much a physical dominance, it's an emotional and psychological control. So it's almost even more dangerous. So you have to just be aware of that. I know there's some of you going, oh my gosh, I do that. But it's not a big deal. We'll do a few more. The brush away. This one's actually kind of interesting. You're shaking hands with somebody, and at the end of the handshake, there's a subtle push away. A push away, literally, push away. That person is telling you they don't like you, they don't like your services, they don't like what you're pitching. So just pick up on those subtle little tells. Let's see. This is a good one. This is probably, I don't want to say the cockiest, but this is probably the rudest kind of handshake. The hesitation. The person comes in for a handshake. I look at it. I wait about 2 to 3 beats. And I grant you with my handshake. That's a very psychologically controlling person. The person who does that to you, don't even bother pitching your services unless you're going to hypnotize them to think otherwise, because they only will get the last word, period, end of story. How much time we got? 7 minutes?
Right.
7?
Actually, about 10 seconds.
About 10 seconds. All right. Well, there's not a lot of time to cover a whole lot. I will just say 2 quick tips. When you're shaking hands with someone who's sitting, the person who's sitting must stand up, and you always make eye contact with shaking. There are a deck of cards on every single table. On the back of them, there is not a circle or a dot. You don't win anything, but you can fight over it and see who gets the deck of cards. Thank you very much. I'm Rich Ferguson.
Thank you, Rich.
Yeah.